Staying with election matters, the Senate and House of Representatives Committees on Electoral Matters held a joint budget defense session with the Independent National Electoral Commission on its 2026 budget today. In attendance were chairmen and members of both committees, alongside INEC Chairman Professor Joash Amupitan, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Documents indicate the Commission is requesting approximately 873 billion naira for the 2027 general elections. Now, Nigeria's path to 2027 is paved with a record-breaking 873 billion naira strategic budget driven by high inflation and new legal mandates. This is INEC's largest pre-election investment in history. Now, the strategy is massive. 35% goes to upgrading 200,000 BVAS units, while 25% funds governorship polls in Ekiti, Osun, and Anambra. To expand the franchise, INEC aims to register 10 million new voters by March and revamp local logistics to beat rising transport costs. To fight inflation, the Commission is front-loading procurement using the Consolidated Revenue Fund. With the 2027 template dropping in September, INEC is moving clearly to ensure a secure, tech-driven future for Nigeria's democracy. INEC in 2025 strategic budget. In 2025, the then Commission had proposed a 126 billion naira budget for the 2025 to secure Nigeria's electoral future. Currently, only 40 billion is allocated. INEC is seeking an additional 86 billion to tackle inflation and the new minimum wage for its 14,700-strong workforce. The strategy is clear: reactivating 8,800 registration centers, procuring 440 BVAS units, and rehabilitating 860 offices nationwide to slash the 2027 queues. Mark your calendars. The nationwide voter registration reopens in August, all leading up to the critical Anambra governorship election in November 8th. INEC is ready to build the future now, shifting to the funding. Let's look at the 2024 budget. Transitioning from the 2023 peak, INEC's 40 billion statutory budget for 2024 shifted focus towards operational stability and post-election recovery. The Commission was prioritizing restoration, with 25% of the funds dedicated to rebuilding offices damaged by arson. Technology remained key, as 20% went towards maintaining 200,000 BVAS units and cleaning the National Registry of Voters. Crucially, 35% of the budget fueled the Edo and Ondo governorship elections. Following February's massive rerun across 26 states, all eyes now turned to the September 21st Edo poll and November 16 in Ondo. With about 1,000 legal battles also being funded, INEC was moving towards solidifying the foundation of Nigeria's democracy. In 2023, INEC's election budget totaled 355 billion, a 60% increase from the 2019 election. This surge funded nationwide election results transmission and compliance with the landmark Electoral Act of 2022. The Commission allocated 30% to BVAS technology and 25% to logistics. Significant funds also covered 1.2 million ad hoc staff and the printing of high-security materials for 1,491 constituencies. The 2023 electoral cycle reached key milestones with the February 25th presidential polls. Following governorship elections on March 18, final supplementary contest concluded in 26 states by April 15. INEC's budget 2023 versus 2026. INEC's 2026 budget marks a staggering 145% increase from 2023, rising to 873 billion. This budget of consolidation addresses hyperinflation and aims to eliminate the chaotic concurrent funding of previous cycles. Funds are pivoting from the 2023 brand new technology purchases to intensive hardware maintenance and cybersecurity hardening. INEC would also launch QR-coded digital voter cards while managing tripled logistics costs due to fuel spikes. The 2026 cycle prioritizes capturing 10 million new voters through continuous voter registration. Off-cycle governorship polls in Ekiti, Osun, Anambra will serve as critical technology beta tests before the 2027 general elections. Quite a lot to chew, but I have with me in the studio here Ezenwa Nwagwu, who's Partners for Electoral Reforms. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Nwagwu.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's start from that 2023 and 2026 budget. 300 plus billion to 800 plus billion. What say thee?
Well, this is budget. That's not actual.
Okay.
So many times people run away with these figures. And if you go to INEC and ask them if how much of the 2023 budget they eventually got, you'll be shocked that even up till now, some of those, what was in that budget was never released. Just saying so. So unpacking this, like they talked about inflation and the rest, but not the bigger challenge is that I would have thought that INEC would be leveraging existing infrastructure. And many times when I make the joke that your election can never be better than your infrastructure, people, look like what? This INEC will be buying buckets, mats, generator, mosquito nets. Why? Because, for instance, at the rack centers where the ad hoc staff, 1 million and above ad hoc staff will be quartered to participate in this election, you have to provide those facilities because the places where they are going to be quartered do not have those facilities. If they did have them, there would not be any need. You wouldn't need all of that. So INEC actually becomes government that does almost everything, including, creating access for people living with disabilities, providing whatever for braille ballots, all of those things.
And this has to happen every
4 years. So, and then you look at the inflationary trend between the 2023 and 2026, you know that it is astronomically unbelievable how much things
have changed.
And now, if you look at that budget, where you mentioned that it is something billion, there are 3 other off-cycle elections embedded in it. So you have 3 governorship elections. So it's not
just all about change.
It's not just about 2027. Now, people, because in the next few days, we hear, INEC with all the money given to them. You now have to unpack it and say, how much is going for conduct of elections? How much is going...
But Mr. Nwagwu, the fact that every 4 years, INEC has to buy buckets, mats, and all of that for their ad hoc staff, every 4 years. So is it that there's no sense of accountability that at the end of these election cycles, those things are preserved for the next cycle of elections?
You know how these things work here. Many times, these buckets, naturally, even if you have 100, you'll be able to get 60.
But because we're running out of time, let's look at the electoral amendment that some of us, or many Nigerians rather, thought that with the amendment of the Electoral Act, some of these costs will be reduced or practically done away with. So things like if they had gone with the recommendations that you and some of your colleagues put forward to them, some of these manual way of doing things would have been taken care of. And then that cost would have come down. That's what many Nigerians thought.
Our election is broadly manual. It's broadly manual. You can't take away paper trail. We are not doing electronic voting. So you still will go accredit. After accreditation, you get a ballot paper and you print on it, and then you manually put it in.
But you know that in that the recommendations that were made to the National Assembly for amendment of the 2022 Electoral Act, one of the things there was voters cards. So the cost of printing this is voters cards, a hard copy, would have been done away with.
But it's not.
But they didn't accept it.
As of today, the law is that you are going to vote manually. You'll be accredited, you vote manually. The votes will be sorted manually. They will be counted manually. And then they will be announced manually. And they will be imputed into a form EC8A manually. And handed to security manually, handed to party agents manually before you then do upload. So if you don't break down this process, a lot of people think that once you vote, your vote immediately is electronically transmitted into the IREF. That's not the way it works. It's still the same process where you have to go through the bimodal because it runs hand in hand. And many Nigerians who talk e-transmission do not understand that these processes will have to still, take place. So it does not take away, it does not reduce costs in the way you are trying to understand it, because you still buy inks, you still buy paper, you still do all the things that biros, whatever, those, real procurement issues will still be there. If you eliminate them completely, then you have to do e-voting. And then when you talk e-voting, then you really will then be talking about clear conversations about internet penetration, whether you like to have it or not. That conversation will have to take place. But you are not doing e-voting. You are doing manual thumb printing and sorting and counting and the rest of them. It does not in any way reduce the cost.
Mr. Ezenwa Nwagwu, Partners for Electoral Reforms, we would thank you for coming in today, and would like to invite you ahead of time for the FCT Council polls on Saturday, because these matters, we'll look at them again. Thank you very much.
We'll do it together.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much.